Hello, I hope you are doing very good today. So in a previous video we talked about how to use APIs in order to translate your book contents. However, those APIs were at the beginning and they only supported translating text that was stored in a text file. So basically you had to have your book stored in an HTML encoded text file. So now, well, I mentioned that I was going to set the functionality to be able to translate Word-based documents. So that's already here. So you can now send your Word document in OpenXML format. That's what we are going to see in a second. By the way, um, if you have liked the videos in the channel, if they have resulted useful to you, please help me sharing the channel, the videos, and let me also know in the contents of all the videos what else you need to learn about .NET Core and Azure. Thank you very much. Okay, so continue with this. So you see that we have this endpoint with this name translate book from Word file, and yeah, it requests the actual languages. I added the source language so that we don't use the internal detection, but instead that the actual user of the application or the endpoint uh, decides or sends which is the actual language. Um, okay, um, so now you will see that here we have this document. That is this book. This is the same book I used before in the previous video to show you. This is the book I had created, and as you can see, it's all in English. Okay, so continue with this. I just hit execute. I wait some moments. Let me just disable the breakpoints. Okay, we wait a couple of seconds to for the actual translations to be done. Currently, it's actually doing some sequential translation in order to not load um, the server or the API requests. Also, since I am using some of the free scenarios, I am a little bit limited to how many characters I can translate um, in a certain amount of time. Um, However, that will be overcome in future versions. Also, I didn't want to add a lot of parallelization. Actually, I removed the parallelization I had because the end goal is for these APIs to be published so that users can translate their own books easily. And the more users there are, that will turn out to be more parallelization because more users at the same time, and that could potentially create a lot of memory usage and CPU usage in the server and resulting in the process ending up being slower. Okay, so you see that it already processed everything. You see that now I get the response. The response is actually a Word file in OpenXML. You see that the file at the moment is named results.docx, which is the standard for Word documents, and the content type is Word processing document. Okay, so now if I go and open or download this file, you can see that yeah, I have here results to docx because I already had another one with that. Uh, Same as with the book before, I avoided trying to translate the index or reference table. However, I did try to translate most of the book contents. So you see that here the title, that's already in Spanish, this is in Spanish, this is in Spanish, the acknowledgements are already in Spanish, all of this is already in Spanish. Uh, this header is in Spanish, this is in Spanish, this is in Spanish, okay, all of this is in Spanish. So yeah, you can see that pretty much everything in here is actually in Spanish. There are a couple of pieces that I know didn't translate because uh, there were some errors. Also, I think I was trying to invoke the translations too very fast or with a little very little amount of time among them, and I believe the server also gave me some errors because of that. So need to work a little bit on it. However, as you can see, most of the content is already translated. All of this is in Spanish. All of this is in Spanish. Uh, all of this is in Spanish. All of this is in Spanish. Uh, yeah, all of this is in Spanish. So yeah, there are a couple of issues, formatting issues in there that actually happen. As you can see, for example, you say that it's this word. This is not one word. This is actually two words, and for some reason, the formatter actually put them together. Uh, so I need to verify that a little bit. I think it actually may have been due to the fact that those are um, are are bold. So probably there were more characters that I didn't take in account there. Um, and it put them together, removing the spaces. Probably the encoding that I use for the server to not give me error remove some of those spaces. Because as you can see, if I am right, actually most if not all of the places where that happened is where there were words started uh, bold formatted words. So you see this one is bold. Um, this one is bold too. What else? Yeah, this one is bold too. This one is bold too. This one is bold too, and this had the quotes. So yeah, um, it seems that there are some small issues there. However, as you can see, most of the translation is actually uh, most of the document is actually in Spanish, and as I can see, most of it actually makes really good sense. Now, right now, this is not intended to translate your book and just go and sell it, but this is intended to be like a first pass translation of your book to allow you to do it much quicker. Of course, you have to open the book, check everything again, um, reformat it in these specific cases, um, see that there are some phrases that are not translated the way your book contents need it. Because if you have ever written a book, especially if you have ever written a book, you will know that um, the actual text and phrases that you use in there, um, they are not, they do not, they are not only based in some grammar. They have, like, for example, when you have Spanish language, you have a lot of dialects. So you will need to choose which phrases to convert to your actual dialect, probably, right? Uh, Also, if you are writing a novel, there are words that you will use in there that you may want to um, translate in a slightly different way according to your writing style. Okay, so yeah, that's why I said this is actually a first pass translation of the book, but it's a really good start. This versus manually translating your whole book, especially if it is a really, really big book, it's much better to do it automatically and then um, review it instead of doing everything manually, right? Um, for example, right now, what I am doing is I am writing this book. I am writing the rest of the chapters, right? And I already have the translations for the first chapter. They are already in Amazon, both English and Spanish version. However, I have also written most of the book with some cases I still need to finish, but I have already written most of the book draft for all of the chapters almost. Most of that is in English. And when I am translating a chapter, for example, sometimes I realize that uh, okay, this it will be good to put it in the other book, right? You need to match your books, your both languages. So probably I already finished my second chapter of the book, and I'm now translating that book chapter to Spanish. But when I'm translating, I find out that there are topics that I probably miss. There are things where I had errors. So that kind of stuff, right? So what you could do is actually now, instead of continue translating here, what I will do is, okay, I already have this translation, and we'll go to the Spanish, and if I do it manually, I'll need to do that back and forth between the documents. However, with automatic translation, what I can do is, no, I write my book in a main language until I am really, really sure um, that's okay. I'll translate it, right? Or I saw the second one. So if I realize that I made a mistake, I'll go and fix it in the base or the original book language, fix it in there. Then I execute an automatic translation with a system to have the basis for the output language, and then I do my personalization, customization over that translated book. But however, that back and forth actually disappears and make your process way much faster. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, most of it is actually in Spanish. So yeah, you can see there are things that actually didn't really translate it. So this actually had to say like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, and it happened. There are some errors in there that I need to check, but as I was saying, most of the book actually translated, and most of the book translation is actually pretty good for a machine standpoint. So yeah, it actually really makes the process way faster. Especially if you are not an expert in another language, it really helps you a lot. Okay, so I hope you have liked the video. Please let me know how you would use these APIs if you have a books you would like to be translated. Also, please let me know any content that you want to have training for. Uh, Mostly Azure and .NET Core. I will also probably be creating some content for Unity. As I was saying before, in the previous video, I want to create some trainings in Unity using Azure special anchors. Seem to be pretty good. I haven't been able to really work on that yet, but yeah, please keep tuned to the channel. Also, please help me sharing the video, like them, and subscribing to the channel. And yeah, share the channel too. Thank you very much and have a good day.